Right, you recognize this. This is the circle of fifths. I have all of my major keys in here and my key signatures. Remember how we do that. I've got C here. We're going to go up in fifths as we go around clockwise. We're going to go up in fourths as we go around counterclockwise. When we go clockwise, we're adding sharps. Remember, fat cats go down alleys eating beef. So we start with F sharp. And we're going to add F sharp in all the way around. Then we move to the next key, and our new sharp is C sharp. So C sharp gets added all the way around. And the next key, G sharp, etc., etc., etc. Flats. Okay, we're going to the left. So we're going fourths, counterclockwise, right? Going in fourths. B flat, so we can add B flat all the way around. Then E flat, so we can add E flat all the way around, etc. Okay, remember that the order of the flats is just the opposite of the order of the sharps. So fat cats go down alleys eating beef. Beef eating alleys down, go cats fat. Going that way. Okay, so that's a quick review of that. You should remember that. We did that really recently. Now we're going to talk about writing in the relative minor keys on the inside of the circle. Okay, remember the relationship in the last video, the relationship that we talked about between the minor and the major keys. Okay, they share a key signature, therefore they are relatives of one another. Remember that they're a step and a half apart. If we're trying to find the relative minor, we go from the major key, half step back through the alphabet, whole step back through the alphabet. Okay? Step and a half backward through the alphabet. So I'm given C, I need to find the relative minor. So I go back a half step through the alphabet. What's the letter that comes before C? Think to yourself. It is B, and then a whole step before that would be A. So A is the relative minor of C. Okay, now I move to the next key, G. I'm given the major key, trying to find the relative minor. So I have to go a half step back from G to F sharp, and then a whole step back from F sharp to E. So E is my relative minor of G. Now to D. Given the major key, I want to find the relative minor, so I've got to go back a half step and then a whole step. So D, back a half step to C sharp, back a whole step to B. You pause this video and do A. So we're given A major, we're trying to find the relative minor. Pause the video. Okay, so what you should have thought to yourself is I'm given A, I need to go back a half step and then a whole step, and that'll give me my relative minor. Go back from A a half step to G sharp, whole step to F sharp. Not F, F sharp. Okay? Next, E. You're given E, you're trying to find the relative minor. Pause the video. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you thought about it this way. I'm on E, trying to find the relative minor. I got to go a half step back from E and then a whole step. So a half step back from E is D sharp, and then a whole step back from D sharp would be C sharp. Okay? Now I'm given B. Pause the video and try to find the relative minor. Okay? Pause the video now. All right, welcome back. So B, you're trying to find the relative minor. You should go back a half step and then a whole step. So if I'm on B, go back a half step to A sharp and then a whole step to G sharp. So G sharp is the relative minor of B major. We keep going. F sharp gets a little tougher. Pause the video. Try to figure this one out. Okay, welcome back. We're going to go back. We're on F sharp major. We're trying to find the relative minor. So we have to go back a half step and then a whole step through the alphabet. F sharp. We go back a half step to E sharp. Okay, that's that music nerd thing. Yeah, sounds the same, looks the same as F, but in this case, it's got to be E sharp, and we know that because we have to use all 7 letters. All of the letters appear in order in the major scales and the minor scales. You remember that, hopefully, from when we did the major scales. So F sharp, back to E sharp. Now we have to go back a whole step to D sharp. So D sharp is the relative minor of F sharp. And finally, we get to C sharp. Pause the video and try to find the relative minor of C sharp major. Okay, welcome back. C sharp, so you should be thinking to yourself, go back a half and then a whole. If I'm on C sharp, this has that same thing, that same issue that we had with F sharp. So we go back a half step from C sharp, we get B sharp. Yeah, it looks the same, sounds the same as C, but we know, because of all the reasons I just mentioned, that it has to be B sharp. Then we go back a whole step from there to A sharp. So A sharp is the relative minor of C sharp. Okay, flat side. So we go back up here, we're looking at F now, and I'm going to go around the flat side. So F, same thing applies, it's all the same. Okay, so pause the video and see if you can find the relative minor of F major. Okay, welcome back. F major, we go back a half and then a whole, because we're given the major, we're trying to find the minor. Go back a half from F, we get E. Go back a whole from E, we get D. So D is the relative minor of F major. We move to B flat. Pause the video, see if you can figure out B flat. Okay, welcome back. B flat major. I should have said, before you pause the video, you're trying to find the relative minor of B flat major. That may have been confusing for you, so I'm sorry. B flat major, we're trying to find the relative minor. We've got to go back a half and then a whole. So we go back a half from B flat to A, back a whole to G. So G minor is the relative minor of B flat major. We move to the key of E flat major. We're trying to find the relative minor for E flat major. Pause the video, figure that out. Okay, welcome back. E flat major. Trying to find the relative minor, that means we have to go back a half step and then a whole step. A half step back through the musical alphabet from E flat is D, and then a whole step back from D is C. So C minor is the relative minor to E flat major. They share a key signature in the way that relatives might share a last name. A flat major, let's find the relative minor of that. Pause the video. Okay, welcome back. A flat major, we've got to go back a half and then a whole step to find the relative minor. A flat, back a half step through the musical alphabet, puts us at G. Then we've got to go back a whole step, and that puts us at F minor. Okay, our last three, the enharmonic keys. So we go down to D flat. So pause the video, see if you can find the relative minor of D flat major. Okay, D flat major. Got to go back a half and then a whole. D flat, we go back a half to C, then we go back a whole to B flat. Okay, B flat minor is the relative minor of D flat major. Now we're going to figure out the relative minor of G flat major. So pause the video. Okay, welcome back. G flat, we've got to go back a half to F, and then we go back a whole to E flat. So E flat minor is the relative minor of G flat major. Okay, and now C flat. We made it to the end. Pause the video and see if you can figure out the relative minor of C flat major. All right, here we go. C flat, going back a half. What do we get? That's right, B flat. Yeah, hopefully you said B flat. And then we go back from B flat to A flat. So A flat is our relative minor, and that, my friends, is a complete circle of fifths with all major and minor keys.